Hey guys, welcome back to my channel where I talk about the NWSL women's soccer, just soccer, only soccer. So as soon as I posted my first video about Paul Riley being accused of sexual coercion by two former players, Sunit Ferrelli and Mana Shem, the North Carolina Courage released this statement saying Paul Riley has been terminated effective immediately and is no longer going to be coaching the North Carolina Courage. Sheen Nehas has been made the interim head coach for the remainder of the season, effective at the North Carolina Courage training session. Yeah, despite it being good that Paul Riley has been fired, I'm not really happy about it. In fact, I feel very indifferent to it, and here's why. This has been going on since 2010. People knew this was happening. Sunit and Mana reported this, and somehow Paul Riley was still hired as the head coach for the North Carolina Courage. People in the NWSL knew what Paul Riley was doing, and for whatever reason, they're playing dumb and feigning ignorance, acting as though this is all new and some big revelation. That's what's kind of getting on my nerves. That's what's been getting on my nerves for this whole day. Like, acting like this is all new to them when Sunit and Mana brought this to their attention and asked for a new investigation into Paul Riley this year. The Portland Thorns in their statement said, let me zoom in. Whoops. Okay, so the Portland Thorns in their statement said, today, The Athletic published a story chronicling a series of disturbing incidents involving Paul Riley, a former Thorns FC head coach, some of which occurred during his 2-year tenure in Portland. There is much in the article that we are first hearing about now. We take all complaints about harassment extremely seriously. Immediately upon receiving a complaint from a player in 2015, we conducted a thorough investigation advised by an outside law firm and placed Riley on administrative leave. While the findings did not show unlawful activity, they did uncover clear violations of our company policies. Based on this, we chose to sever ties with Riley. The findings of the investigation were fully shared with the NWSL League office. Throughout the club's existence, we have always encouraged players and staff to freely express themselves on and off the field on any issue and in any context they choose. We are proud of our incredible body of community work and the impact it's had, our long-standing ethos of social justice and inclusion, and a player and employee advocacy. It's really late, you guys. The article is a difficult read, and there are some horrifying revelations. We have grown since 2015 as an organization, and will continue to seek to improve and get better. We will fully cooperate with any additional inquiries into this matter, and more importantly, re-examine our own processes and protocol that are intended to ensure a safe space. And I'm gonna have something to drink. Yeah, I think this is gonna be a long video, so you may wanna have some food or a drink. Basically, just sit back, because we're gonna be here a while. Okay, so let's unpack this Portland Thorns statement. The Thorns said, there is much in the article that we are first hearing now. And in the last paragraph they say, the article is a difficult read, and there are some horrifying revelations. In the second paragraph, though, the Thorns said they did a thorough investigation into this matter. That being said, why are you acting as though this is something new to you guys? Like, you did the investigation, right? The players told you what was going on. They told you about what Paul Riley was doing. If that's the case, then why are you acting as though this is new to you when you knew about this and when you claim to have done a thorough investigation? Also, what were those clear violations of company policy that were uncovered? The Thorns said they reported the findings of the investigation to the NWSL League office. Like, what were those findings? I mean, whatever it was, it must not have been serious enough because Riley was still able to coach the North Carolina Courage. NWSL Commissioner Lisa Baird released this statement on Twitter. I'm not going to read all of it, but you guys can pause the video if you would like to read it for yourself. Baird says, "I was shocked and disgusted to read the new allegations reported in The Athletic this morning. The league, in concert with the North Carolina Courage, has reacted swiftly in response to these new allegations, and former head coach Paul Riley has been terminated. Concurrently, we are reporting these new allegations to the U.S. Center for Safe Sport for investigation. A safe and secure work environment is a top priority for the league and its collective ownership." And I'm going to stop that there. And this is where I think the NWSL is playing dumb, feigning ignorance, and trying to cover their butts. Like, notice how Lisa Baird keeps calling these new allegations. She said it 3 times that these are new allegations, but on Twitter, Alex Morgen came forward with emails that Baird knew all about this. And Baird responded to this when Sunit Ferrelli wanted to open a new investigation into Paul Riley. This is the email Sunit Ferrelli sent to Lisa Baird on April 28, 2021, filling her in about what went on. So this is Sunit Ferrelli's email to Lisa Baird. And I'm gonna have something to drink. So surprised my throat isn't getting dry right now. It's not getting too dry, it's just itchy. Alright. So Ferrelli writes, "Dear Lisa Baird, I write as a former soccer player in the National Women's Soccer League and in connection with the recently enacted policies to protect players and staff and to assure a safe and inclusive workplace for all. I am writing to report that when I was a player for the Portland Thorns in 2015, I not only witnessed but also experienced firsthand extremely inappropriate conduct by Mr. Riley. In 2015, I described such conduct in an interview with Thorns staff as part of a separate investigation regarding Mr. Riley. In addition to the experiences I reported in the 2015 investigation, Mr. Riley repeatedly made harassing comments about my personal relationships and sexual orientation to other players and directly to myself. No one from either the team or the NWSL ever independently investigated my allegations that I raised in the 2015 investigation, despite their serious nature. I also note that numerous instances of severe misconduct involving Mr. Riley occurred prior to my time playing for the NWSL. Such conduct should have no place in women's soccer. Upon the conclusion of the 2015 investigation of which I took part, Mr. Riley was removed from the Portland Thorns, but the NWSL soon thereafter announced that he would coach the North Carolina Courage. I am bringing this to the league's attention so that I can understand what steps, if any, the league intends to take in connection with the inappropriate conduct that was initially reported, given the apparent failure of the NWSL to take any action to protect players in response to the initial complaint. I am deeply concerned for the safety of current players, given that Mr. Riley continues to coach in the NWSL. I can also make myself available for an interview if the NWSL would like to discuss further. If the NWSL could respond by April 30th, 2021, that would be greatly appreciated. Sincerely, Sunit Ferrelli. So that was the email Sunit Ferrelli sent to Lisa Baird. Lisa Baird then responds in an email to Ferrelli on May 5th, 2021, in what is basically PR speak. Something that I absolutely hate and detest with a fiery, burning passion. Baird says in her email to Ferrelli, Sunit, thank you for your email and for sharing with me your past experiences with the league. I appreciate that coming forward in 2015 and again now might not have been easy. We reviewed our files and I can confirm that the initial complaint was investigated to conclusion. Unfortunately, I cannot share any additional details. NWSL takes the safety of its players very seriously and believes that all players should have a safe and secure environment in which to play. I also you to know that in early April, the NWSL anti-harassment policy for a safe work environment was published to all players, team staff, league staff, and owners. This policy, which was developed with input from the NWSL Players Association, clearly states the expectations and requirements of all those involved in our league and is a part of our ongoing commitment to creating and maintaining a safe and respectful work environment. I am committed to ensuring that all our processes at the league, at our clubs, and with outside authorities are transparent. Yeah, sure they are. Accessible to players, and most importantly, effective. Yeah, keep telling yourself that. Thank you again for your email, and I wish you the best. Lisa Baird. So here we have proof that Lisa Baird, the NWSL commissioner, knew about these allegations, knew Ferrelli wanted to open a new investigation into Paul Riley, but basically said the case was closed. Now Baird has the audacity to claim that these are new allegations. So Alex Morgen, who leaked the email, said the league was informed of these allegations multiple times and refused multiple times to investigate the allegations. The league must accept responsibility for a process that failed to protect its players from this abuse. So, to the NWSL and Lisa Baird, stop playing dumb, stop with the PR speak about doing better and wanting to create a safe and secure environment for players. You could have protected Sunit Ferrelli and Mana Shem years ago, but you guys failed epically. You failed on an epic proportion. It took Sunit and Mana coming forward publicly to get the NWSL and Lisa Baird to do something. It took backlash from fans and players to get the NWSL and Lisa Baird to do something. Like, you guys care more about your image than you do about your players. If you actually cared about Sunit and Mana, you would have done something years ago. If you actually cared about your players, Riley wouldn't have been rehired to coach the North Carolina Courage. If you cared about your players' safety, you would have taken Sunit's concerns seriously and opened up a new investigation into Paul Riley. The NWSL and Lisa Baird refused to do that. This whole thing is so sad and messed up, and unfortunately there is no happy ending here. Riley has been fired, but the damage has already been done. What happened to Sunit, Mana, and others doesn't just go away. The players deserve better than this. The players deserve to be safe and protected, and the league that is supposed to protect them and keep them safe isn't doing that. You know, I was scrolling on Twitter reading the reactions of fans and players, and I came across this tweet. It reads, "Think I speak for all NWSL fans/viewers when I say I would 100% support an NWSL players strike this weekend. This league cannot be allowed to continue without player safety ensured." So there are 2 games, Friday, October 1st. North Carolina Courage versus the Washington Spirit, and Racing Louisville versus Gotham FC. Then there are 3 games Saturday, October 2nd. Chicago Red Stars versus Orlando Pride, Kansas City versus Houston Dash, and OL Reign versus the Portland Thorns. If players came out and decided to protest by not playing, or the players decided to go on strike, yeah, I would support a player strike too, because maybe then the league will start taking their safety into consideration. You're probably thinking, isn't that kind of drastic? Yeah, it is drastic. But what is it going to take in order to get the NWSL to protect its players? The players need to be safe. The fans want the players to be safe. The players are very important to the fans, and the constant neglect to player safety can't go on like this. What is it going to take in order to get the NWSL to keep its players safe and protected? Anyway, yeah, I didn't intend for this video to be this long or to go this long. Yeah, this news is a lot to take in. And I want to end this saying, I do wish Sunit, Ferrelli, and Mana Shim nothing but love and healing moving forward. Ferrelli and Shim are brave for coming forward. This isn't an easy thing to do, but hopefully their stories, along with the stories of other victims, will push for others in the NWSL to come forward with their stories if they have them. And hopefully these stories will push for change in the NWSL. Anyway, that is all I have for you guys today or tonight, and I'll see you all in the next one. Later.